Good morning, my loves. It's Dina here with No Fear, Just Flow. And I am talking about all things Christianity, I guess. I've been delving into the Bible, first time ever, realizing a lot of people that are Christians have not read the Bible, which I'm not judging. It's just fascinating to me because as I learn more and more, I am fascinated by the stories of the Bible. I'm fascinated by the Old Testament. And I really got stuck on some scripture in Luke about forgiveness. And although I think forgiveness is very important for ourselves, if not for the person that we're forgiving, it can be a challenging thing to do, especially if the person continues the behavior. So I have, I believe, forgiven everyone in my past as well as myself for indiscretions. I don't hold any anger or hate in my heart, sadness for sure, and there's still longing and there is still work to be done, of course, when it comes to transmuting trauma or pain into joy and happiness and just being settled in my own body, if that makes sense. So that's shadow work, I like to call that. And not everybody's up for shadow work, but I will tell you that the other side of shadow work is a very joyful place to be. So the part of Luke that I was struggling with is Luke 17:4, I believe, where it says that you should forgive, and if somebody does something to you 7 times a day, you still forgive them. And so as someone who spent a lot of her life being gaslit by narcissists because I just didn't know any better. I didn't have that self-love that I do now. And so I allowed myself in those situations. I'm very careful now about who I allow or what I allow into my life. And so I felt like the Bible was gaslighting me a little bit. Like, really? I have to forgive somebody 7 times? 7 times I have to turn and forgive them in one day? Like, for me, it's time to walk away. I mean, I send you love and light, but I'm also going to walk away. So then I had somebody say to me, like, maybe they're not in your space. Maybe it's just in your head, because we loop on things and we can't stop thinking about them. And so it's a forgiveness of in your mind. It's forgiving them as those stories continue to loop. And that just clicked in and made a lot of sense. So I think what I'm finding as I read the Bible is that maybe I'm taking it too literal, and maybe I'm wanting it to make more sense rather than just kind of flow with it and understand that some of it is just on a level of obviously spirituality and just kind of understanding that there's an internal part of us that needs to be acknowledged, and that maybe not everything is about the physical realm. So I think that makes sense. And I know that for some people it's probably questioning why am I so into the Bible, or why is this so complicated for me? Sorry, my dog's barking. But it really is like being raised an atheist. I don't think that people understand that my atheism was not an atheism where we just didn't believe. Mine was, I was told on a regular basis that people that believed in God were stupid or dumb, or that they were crazy, or that they just didn't have a brain for themselves, because how could any of that be true? And so now that I have this beautiful love of God and Jesus, I obviously don't feel that way anymore, but that was ingrained in me, just like religion is ingrained in certain people. So our belief systems, when we decide to walk away from them, sometimes things come back. And so that's the part that I am putting to bed, is the part of the non-belief, the part of the craziness and the loneliness that came from it. Because being an atheist, for me, I can only speak for me, was very lonely. It was. It was very fear-based. And because of that fear, I invited a lot in. So I think when you have fear of things and they resonate in your mind, whether it be fear of being alone or fear of abandonment or fear of tragedy happening or fear of being poor, that we kind of create that reality for ourselves. And so looking back on life, yes, I had a lot of trauma. Yes, I had a lot of darkness, but a lot of that came from fear. And that, in my opinion, is where the devil or darkness or that frequency resides. So in my opinion, God is a frequency of love, 528 if you look it up. And so the more of us that vibrate at that frequency, the more likely we are that we're going to create heaven on earth, because everything is energy. And when you vibrate at a certain energy, then no bad energy can really get to you. And if you stay in that place, the longer you stay in that place, then these beautiful things start to happen. So that's why it's so important to me to vibrate high, because for so long I was stuck in the fear of atheism and the fear of darkness. For me, that's what it was. So if you're an atheist and have no beliefs and that somehow feels joyful to you, then no judgment. That's not my job to judge. So I love everyone where they're at. And for those that are not bringing that same kind of energy, we just don't vibrate at the same place, and that's okay. So I enjoy spending time with either high vibrating people or just in my own company, and that's how I am. And I also enjoy helping other people get to that place. So if you're at a high vibrational place, don't forget to reach back and to help other people get there too. All right. That's my message for the day. Like, just go out there and live and enjoy life, and don't be so afraid. That's how they keep us under control. No fear, just flow. Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, and know that you are blessed and loved and one of God's children. Mwah. Whether you like it or not.